the Meike 25mm f2.0. I tested this lens for the last couple of weeks and here is my review. Hello and welcome back here to another video on my channel. Here you will find lens reviews of different Sony E-mount lenses, just like the Meike 25mm f2.0. I got this lens for free for testing it out, but also if I got it for free, I will mention also the positive as well as the negative aspects of this lens. Like I said, I tested this lens out for the last couple of weeks and yeah, here is my review, my conclusion about this lens. But first, let's take a look how it comes packaged. So here is the box. At the front you have a small image of the lens, 25mm APS-C, 55mm filter thread, f2.0 multi-coated. On this side you have some specifications of the lens. On this side again the image of the lens and the same as on the front. And here 25mm f2.8 standard fixed focal length for mirrorless cameras. So let's open it up. At first, you get the warranty card as usual. We could put this on the side. Then you have a little microfiber glove, which is always nice. Some package material. Here you have a little pouch, which is always also nice and also a bit above of the usual ones. And normally with a Meike lens, you didn't get one, but this is really nice. It is built very well and it feels like it could protect the lens a bit. The bottom is a bit hard, so you can't bump the front element either if you have it in this pouch. And here you have the lens itself. It sticks a bit in the package material. So if we put it out, you have the lens with a lens hood which is made out of plastic. Yeah, the front lens cap with the front element behind and also the rear lens cap. And maybe I could try to change the aperture and I think you will see the aperture blades. And yeah, so far to the unboxing. The first impression of this lens was very good. It is a big, heavy lens and built very well compared to other Meike lenses, like here the 25mm f1.8. Both lenses are made out of metal, but here it is, yeah, it feels like a step above of that what Meike normally do. And it feels very worthy. Like I mentioned earlier, this lens is built fully out of metal, also the mount is out of metal, and like you can see, there are no electronic connections because this is a manually only lens. It is built for APS-C sized sensors like at the A6000 where I tested this lens. You also get a lens hood which is made out of plastic and sticks not very well on the lens. You could easily bump it so it turns a bit and then you have a part of the lens hood in the picture, so you have to take a look that it is straight all the way. The working with this lens has positive as well as negative aspects. But let's start with the positive aspects, and this is definitely the focus ring. You have quite a bit of room to turn it, so you have nearly a half turn to get from the closest distance, which is 0.25 of a meter, to 0.6 of a meter, and then even more till you get to infinity. So all in all, you have nearly 3/4 of a turn for focusing. So it is really easy and nice to focus, especially in closer distances within 1 meter. There are only two minor problems with the focus ring. At first, in my opinion, it is a bit too stiff. Not much, but a little bit. And the other problem, yeah, it's quite hard to focus till infinity. It could be because of the cold temperatures. When I were outside to test this lens, we always had about 0 degrees Celsius, so it isn't that much. And maybe because it's a fully metal build, something changed inside the lens, so it is very hard to focus till infinity. And yeah, but it's a problem. I wish there were a bit more room to focus. The aperture ring is really nice and stiff, and you have enough room to change aperture very well. Another problem which I found very surprising was that the rings aren't as good separated as usual. Meike is very good in separating the rings of the focus and the aperture, also if the lenses are very, very tiny. You can't bump one ring by accident if you use the other one. Here at the Meike 25mm f2.0 you have very big rings and only a little space between, and the rings are nearly on the same height, so it is very easy to bump them, especially if you try to focus and hold the lens. And the focus ring, like I mentioned earlier, is a bit too stiff, so it is possible that you bump the aperture ring by accident if you try to focus. Especially when I wear gloves, I had really problems at the beginning and wondered why the picture doesn't come out like I wanted to. And then I noticed, okay, you bump accidentally sometimes the aperture ring, and if you get used to it, it isn't a problem anymore, but at the beginning it happened very often. And one last thing to the aperture ring, it is a clickless ring, so it is nice for filmmakers. But here in this case, I wished it had clicks, because then it isn't a problem if you bump it, because there are clicks. And if you bump it, you hear it, okay, I clicked it, it clicked one time, so I accidentally bumped it. But now to the most important part of this review, the image quality. And here I show you some sample pictures I took with this lens in the last couple of weeks, like usual, and then I will tell you my opinion about this lens. What are your thoughts about the image quality of this lens? Let me know down in the comments. And also, if you don't want to miss out on other lens reviews like this or like the upcoming Zeiss 12mm f2.8, consider subscribing. But now to the image quality. In my opinion, also there are positive and negative things. In closer distances, up to middle distances of 10 to 15 meter, it is very, very good. In the center, the sharpness is very well. To the edges, it gets a bit loose in sharpness, but it's okay. All in all, it's a 200 euro lens. You have to mention that. And that isn't that much, so the image quality is very well. Like I said, in the center, in closer distances, it's very, very sharp. If you get to infinity, it also loses a bit sharpness, but it also could up to me, because like I said earlier, it was very hard to focus till infinity, so maybe I missed the focus. But if you take a look at the focus scale, I think this lens is made for closer pictures, because you have so much room until you get even to 1 meter, that I think, okay, it is made, it is built for shorter distances. And here the lens performs very, very well. There is no vignetting going on with this lens, and also the barrel distortion is very well controlled with this lens. If you photograph in hard lighting conditions, there are some chromatic aberrations. You see them, but they aren't as heavy as at other lenses I tested earlier. Lens flares are very well controlled with this lens, and the Sunstar even look very nice. The bokeh in the center is very nice and circular. If you go to the edges, the bokeh gets a bit more edgy, but in a real world setup, the bokeh is very nice and smooth for a 25mm on an APS-C size sensor. All in all, it's very hard to find a conclusion with this lens. Like I mentioned earlier, the build quality is very well and a big step above that what Meike usually does. And this alone is worth more money. The image quality is very well in the center, especially in closer distances. It gets a bit lost to around the edges, but it is normal. Like I said, it's a $200 lens. It isn't that much, and you can expect that it is a very sharp lens from corner to corner. It's normal that you lose a bit of sharpness. But I saw the Meike 28mm f2.8, and the 28mm is a bit better. Especially around the edges it is a bit better. If you go till infinity it is better, and it costs half the price. The image quality isn't as good as here. For example, I have some dust in the focus ring, and so I think if dust is here inside, it doesn't take much time till the dust go inside the housing. And I think that you haven't any problems with that with the 25mm here. But $200 is much more than what Meike usually wants. And I think if the lens cost about $150, $160, I definitely would say go and buy this lens. But at $200, yeah, it is okay. It is worth the price, but you could get a bit better alternative which is cheaper. The 28mm, like I mentioned earlier, is here the better alternative. But here you have 3mm less in the focal length, and in this case it could make a big difference. And so yeah, it is up to you. If you like the images, go with this lens. You definitely make nothing wrong. If you say, okay, the images are okay and the 28mm is maybe even a better focal length for me, then go with the 28mm f2.8. So, all in all, what is your conclusion about this lens? Let me know down in the comments, and if you liked this video, hit thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you won't miss out on any further lens reviews. So, see you next time. Bye bye.